and your client's life more easy. So in that regard, you have the ability to do that without having. Now, not to say that you shouldn't, obviously. I still believe very much in the relationship between the advisor and the client. And of course you should see them, but we all live busy lives. And as long as I trust you and you've already established that relationship, there's no reason why you can't do things over the phone or using a Skype or FaceTime. Now on top of that, the difference between medical underwriting for mortality versus medical underwriting for living benefits are two very different things. Having a few back problems from a living benefits perspective for disability or critical illness, for anybody who's familiar with those procedures and protocols, is a big no-no, right? It makes things particularly difficult if somebody has back problems to get any kind of living benefits. Same with depression or anxiety. That even affects some life underwriting, but it definitely affects living benefits. Based on the life insurance decision of Hugo, assuming that it's standard, your clients will be eligible for $25,000 in critical illness and up to $1,500 in debt DI coverage, completely non-integrated. Okay? Two things are great about this. One, there's no further underwriting required. Two, it forces you to have that conversation because the software makes you have that conversation. Do you have any critical illness through work? Do you know what critical illness is, Mr. and Mrs. Klein? No? Well, if you don't have any, I would highly recommend taking a base of $25,000. It's probably not enough, but it's a great thing to get you started, and that way you're covered right now from day one. As far as disability is concerned, I love I have it through work. That's fantastic. Is it 50 or 60%? Ever have that conversation? 50 or 60%? And they look at you with the deers in the headlights because they have no idea what you're talking about? Let's say on the bright side it is 60%. So let me get this straight. You're sick or injured so bad that you can't work. You're going to take a 40% pay cut. Is that going to affect your ability to pay your mortgage? Probably. Would $1,500 help? That doesn't conflict with any of your government or private benefits? Probably. We want to make sure that, of course, everybody is covered off. Now, as far as going from your particularly healthy people that you can get approved instantly, what about your particularly unhealthy people? The simplified market is the highest growing area of insurance for the past, was it 10 years, Caitlin, about that? Past 10 years? It's rising for two reasons. People aren't as healthy as they used to be. We have an aging population. I guess I said two, but it was really three. And three, people just don't like medicals. You know, people don't want to go through them. And if they can avoid it, why not, right? So let's run through some examples of people they might run into. Okay, oops, back we go. On the left there is my cousin Bob. And Bobby likes to party. Bob's idea of a good time, on Friday after he finishes work, he goes to the beer store, gets himself a 2-4, and that 2-4 is gone by noon on Sunday. He is also a connoisseur of pizza. Ever sit down with him and talk to him about what's better, Pizza Hut, Pizza Nova? You guys will have a great time. Bobby has a hard time getting insurance. A greater component of the population now are cancer survivors. Now, there's nothing funny about going through cancer, but what is particularly a need for those individuals is that they understand that coverage is incredibly important because either they had it and they benefited from it, or they didn't. And they suffer the consequences, unfortunately. These people need insurance too. And there's no reason why you should turn them away. People on dialysis, same idea. We're also very proud of the fact that we can offer people who are HIV positive coverage. Immediate, from day one. And even if you made a few bad life decisions, we don't judge. As far as limits are concerned, you can offer them up to $300K in life coverage, up to $100K in critical illness, and up to $2,500 in DI. I'm particularly proud of the DI component. It is one of the easiest accident and sickness policies to qualify for on a simplified basis in the industry, period. In terms of other things that's particularly good at covering, you got any of your clients who are thrill seekers? Okay? Maybe like the bungee jump. Maybe like to go whitewater rafting. I mean, I think that's fun personally. Underwriters, not so much. But, like I said, no issues with us. Full coverage. What about high-risk occupations? Yeah? I mean, there's me in my former life in the bottom right-hand corner there. You know, defending the freedoms and so on. But in all seriousness, people who either work for the forces, continue to work for the forces, or, you know, the guy who likes to be entertaining and stick his hand down a crocodile's throat because why not? Hard time getting insurance. Underwriters don't like that very much. No issue with us. And other occupations that you wouldn't think necessarily would cause them to have issues getting coverage, but do. Okay? Professional athletes, actors or actresses, models, casino workers, or bartenders. And before I get the question, because I always do, why are casino workers a higher risk? That is a fantastic question. From an actuarial perspective, when you look at the data, it's not great. The data is awful. Why specifically? There's a wide range of issues, but for whatever reason, those subset of individuals have a hard time getting coverage and staying healthy. But again, no issue with us because we don't ask. So, it seems too good to be true, right? Like, who do you deny? Like, how you seem to give coverage to everybody. Where do you draw the line? Well, we draw the line in two ways. One is through 6 eligibility questions. Notice that we say simplified issue. I do not say guaranteed issue. I do not guarantee that I can offer you coverage. Okay? But if you can get through the 6 eligibility questions, the question is not whether or not I can make you an offer. It's just a question of pricing and risk. And that's broken down into 3 other categories, whether it's gold, silver, or bronze. I'm sure we can all guess which ones have preferred rates versus the other. So, in terms of how we figure out overall eligibility, the questions are as follows. Are you currently working? You can say yes or no to this. This will not impede your ability to get life and critical illness coverage. However, we cannot give disability coverage to individuals who are not working, which is why we ask. In the past 12 months, were you able to complete all your occupations on a regular basis? Again, you can say yes or no to this. And again, if you say no, then we cannot offer you disability coverage, but we can offer you life HCI. The next 4 questions are hard no's. You have to say no to these, otherwise I can't help you. Okay, let's run through those. The first one is where the majority of people get caught. In the past 2 years, were you absent from work for more than 15 consecutive days due to illness or received disability or critical illness benefits from a private group or public insurance plan? This refers to any private insurance plan that you may have, any insurance coverage provided by your employer, professional association, or group or organization, and coverage provided by government agencies, both provincial and federal. And that is a mouthful. But beyond that, what does that actually say? So, 2 things. 1, did you receive any funds that were not paid because you were sick or injured? Okay? That's a yes, I can't help you. Okay? And as far as when I define that, I define it by when you stopped receiving payments in terms of the 2-year time frame. Okay, from the time that you stop, if it's been more than 2 years, that's fine. 15 consecutive days of work. Okay? So have you missed 15 consecutive shifts, 15 consecutive days, however your employment is structured, that's what that means. Okay? As long as you can say no to that, we're good. The next ones are a little bit easier. In the last 2 years, did you receive treatment or were you advised to seek treatment for drugs or alcohol? Treatment includes, but not limited to, participation in a support group. So, you like to drink to have fun? Fine by me. Maybe you do a little recreational drugs on the side. Again, fine by me. As long as a doctor or the court hasn't ordered you to rehab. And as long as you didn't think it was so bad that you checked yourself in or went to a support group because you thought you needed a little bit of help. Okay? As long as you can say no to that, we're good. In the last 5 years, were you incarcerated in a penitentiary for more than 48 hours? When I say incarcerated, I mean a prison. And when I say a penitentiary, I mean a federal prison. Okay? Funny but not so funny story. I had a client, or a broker rather, tell me that they had a situation where the individual was going through a messy divorce. The wife called the cops on the Thursday, suggesting that she had been assaulted. The cops show up on the Friday, pick up the guy to go to bail court. It was the Friday before a long weekend. That person's case did not get heard by the time the court closed on the Friday, so he got to spend 72 hours in a provincial correctional facility, waiting for his bail to be heard. Again, funny, not so funny. Does that count? And no, it doesn't. A provincial holding facility is not the same thing as a federal penitentiary. When I say federal penitentiary, I do mean federal crimes. Okay? So it has to be something particularly bad. And even then, you improve your life, 5 years goes by, you're getting married, you have a kid, you have a house. I don't care what you did in the past. Okay? We're good to go. And finally, the last one is a catch-all. And we ask this more for you guys than we do for us, because it's incredibly difficult to prove that somebody was avoiding the doctor. In the last 6 months, did you have any physical or mental symptoms or discomfort for which you have yet to seek a health professional? Okay? So let's run through a couple scenarios here. Let's say a person says no to this, and that's fine. 2 months later, they drop dead of a heart attack. Okay? Coroner's report goes back and finds out that they had a mild blockage and deemed that between that and stress, the person had a heart event, and that was that. We go back through the records and find out that individual goes to the doctor pretty much on an annual basis. Last time they checked out the heart, the doctor didn't find anything weird, so he didn't order any additional tests, so it went undiagnosed. That pays. That's okay. Flip side, person passes away from stage 4 lymphoma in 2 months. That doesn't happen in 2 months. That is not a sudden event. We go back to the records and find out they haven't seen a health professional or been to a hospital in the past decade. That person on the balance of probabilities knew that they had a problem, and that person would not get paid. They would get their money back, but on a balance of probabilities, again, that person was avoiding the doctor. Okay? Make sense? The only thing that changes if you answer no to the first question is the second question asks, instead of were you able to work, it says that you confirm that you haven't received a diagnosis of cognitive impairment and confirm that you're able to perform regular daily acts of living such as bathing, dressing, toileting, maintaining continence, all of that. Are you at home because you choose to be or because you're unemployed looking for work? Or are you at home because you have to be? If you're at home because you have to be, I can't help you. Now, the second biggest thing between us and our competitors on the other simplified market is that we don't do deferrals. We don't have a deferral period. Okay? So we cover everything from day one with the exception of what you already know is an issue. So let's use somebody who has had a heart attack. Okay? Small business owner, let's say they're in their early 40s, work like 80 hours a week, have a stress heart attack that took off about a week, didn't claim any kind of benefits or anything like that, so they were okay to answer question 3 as a no. But they had a heart attack 3 weeks ago. They now see the light and then they want some insurance and they say, hey, can you help me out? And you say, yes, of course I can. I got options for you. We will exclude cardiovascular issues for the first 24 months, but that's it. Everything else is fine. Everything else is covered. As far as the pre-existing condition provision is concerned, we offer 2, and that's 12 and 24 months. In the case of heart attack guy, that's a particularly high risk, so we extend the pre-ex to 24 months. For people who are less high risk, we do a 12-month pre-existing condition exclusion. Okay? And the way that is defined, for those that are unfamiliar, let's say you buy the policy today. Okay? Anything that you have been treated for or diagnosed with in the past 2 years from today that directly contributes to a claimable event in the first 2 years of the policy is not covered. Do you notice they say direct? Okay. We have had a claim with somebody who was a type 1 diabetic, admitted to it, told us on the application, and a year and a half in, died of a heart attack. We know that diabetes affects the heart adversely, but when we got the coroner's report and the coroner said that no, diabetes was